July in Berlin, and it's cold as fuck. Thank God I got my fucking hoodlum. So, here we are, once again, giving it to you live, the way you love it, the way you love to have it, the way it always has been. Hot, fast, and furious. A big shout out to my man Fiorucci, and all those who got the Gucci and the biz baz. Here, for the left, the right, and those who like to go straight up the middle. Please take note to our next show. It's about those who have gone and traveled the road less traveled, the bootstrappers, the hipsters, the startups. This is the Berlin Diary edition of Ibiza LifeStyle TV. And today we have a super exclusive with one of Berlin's hottest startups. It's called Glastrix. If you haven't heard about them, they're like Spider-Man, in and out like a flash. Let's take a look. So, she's already rolling, she's running. I'm going to introduce you to a great friend and a dear, I say great friend because you can in an instant get the sense of something and get a feeling for someone, and it's like as if you've known them your whole life. And you have similar, you know, you meet someone and you're the same jokes, music, this sort of thing, maybe different, but the same, this similarity. Inspiring man of the hour, Eric from Glastrix. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Eric. I'm just starting with a new company called Glastrix, which is printing on glass. This was an idea that I started implementing and stuff about 15 years ago using lasers and spray paints and stuff to get an actual image on the backside of a piece of glass. So now I'm using new technologies to kind of continue this venture, I guess, and have a little startup.
There's a bit of behind the scenes because you're never going to see this usually. Like you never see like the other side of the studio. You never see the kitchen side. So we're going to show you that side. So basically, Eric, people really like to know what and how, but more importantly, why you do what you do, what drives you. So tell your story in the process and what's motivated you to get from the very beginning to here. And you can take your time, actually.
From there to here, yeah, I have to see how far back do I really
Start
go.
birth. There you go. Where were you born? Where are you from?
I was born here in Berlin. My parents had met in the States. So my mother is German. They got stationed over here, and then I was born here in Berlin.
You're like a real Berliner.
Yeah, one of the few. So then we moved back to the States when I was about 6-7 years old, and that was Michigan, still on a military base. And then I moved to Texas kind of in the middle of summer for high school years. And then after that I stayed more or less in Texas, and now back in Berlin due to like longer term travel plans that ended up becoming a move.
Fate.
I got here and stayed and never left.
All right. This is good. This is the same thing about Ibiza. You know, people rock up for a holiday and they
Just never go.
Yeah. So
It's kind of weird.
when you got here, you weren't doing Glastrix, were you? You were doing something else. Would you? When fate caught you by the coattails,
Right.
and you ended up back in the place of your birth. Tell me what were those circumstances about?
Well, I had kind of decided to stay in Berlin after a lot of fighting with myself. You know, I knew how to make money in the States, and I didn't really speak the language here. And then it was kind of like learning German. You know, getting back into it, even though it was my first language. It took a little while to get back into it. And then when I kind of decided I was going to stay here, then it was like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I had this language barrier for doing what I used to do, which was using laser engraving and things on glass. I started working as a barkeeper. I make drinks, and it helped me learn my, with German, and then I moved on towards getting like a holiday apartment going. The original plan was to start a little hostel here, but that's a lot of capital and a lot of time involvement. And then eventually I was like, got this holiday apartment idea. Started from a little, somebody wanted me to rent their apartment for them, and a lot of people just wanted it short term. Didn't really turn out that way with that apartment, but then eventually I found another one that was empty, and that was kind of the opportunity to try it out and see what happened there. It would have given me a lot of free time. Well, laws are changing in Berlin now, so holiday apartments are not really welcome in Berlin anymore, so now it's time to kind of move on.
It's not really a long-term business plan for you.
It was a long-term business plan,
but you have to shift a bit with the changing laws.
Exactly. And now I'm kind of going back to something that I did before, which was working with glass. I was using lasers to engrave and etch glass and to cut plastics and wood and do these things. This was back in 2001, 2002. That's kind of an old business, and there's new technologies out there now. So now I'm getting kind of back into working with glass, which is one of my favorite materials. It's got a lot of interesting properties. You know, glass is, it's always a liquid for one. Most people don't know, but it's a liquid by nature. It also has a very thin film of water on it all the time. And then you might want to go in for a close-up then, because I'm going to be slowly breaking the glass. And these things provide kind of some sort of challenges with working with this material. Breakability, the clarity, and all these kind of attributes are interesting. And then if you're going to add color to that, that's what makes it kind of really like pop. You know, it's color, but it's still kind of it's hard to explain. It has a depth.
Yeah, it makes it multi-dimensional, really.
Exactly.
It's not like you put some paper onto the glass. It becomes the glass in one way.
Right. It's kind of like it's a wet contact. You know, if you have your hand behind the glass and you look at it, I mean, you see your hand behind glass. But then if you dip your hand in water and then put it on the glass, then you have this whole different dimension. It's like, what is that? It's kind of two-dimensional bubble in the glass. Color. So that's where I like to play around.
Okay, so what's been, let's say, your number one challenge in making this transition from holiday apartments to master of the glass?
What was kind of, I'd always kind of been talking about it. It's always been kind of itching in my mind that I wanted to do this again, because holiday apartments, it's nice, you meet a lot of cool people as travelers, but the ability to really like be creative and make something was kind of always lacking. And I wanted to do it, but there was this rather high cost factor involved with getting these kind of machines and getting the equipment that you need to do this. But eventually, when they made my business that I had, you know, the holiday apartments illegal, more or less, they gave me the impetus to say, okay, now is the time to do this.
This is really interesting, because there are a lot of people that are going to be watching, that are listening, that they want to make a transition from a job or a career that they might even know is going absolutely nowhere. But you know, this sort of reluctance, it's like approach avoidance, when you have this, like, you see the train, you're on it, and you can see that the track up ahead, the bridge has been blown out. And people are still kind of thinking, should I jump? I mean, did you have any of these doubts? I mean, to even maybe think, oh, maybe, you know, like, what caused you to take action, to make a decision to take action? Was there a pivotal point where you're like, you said it had been on your mind, but I mean...
It was that point where they really basically started changing the laws and saying 2016 it's going to be done. And then I was like, if I start now, then at least I have something to keep me going while I'm still getting this one off the ground. And that, I would say it was maybe a month after they had declared that I was like, started on it.
Wow. So now, you've got the business is getting started, you've got some customers coming in. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had right now that you've kind of, you know, you got the one skateboard going, one's kind of moving? What are some of the challenges in the new business of being the master of glass? What are some of your challenges?
I would say the biggest challenge now is working on learning kind of the market, because there's really, so far I don't think there's really much of a demand for my product. Even though it looks really cool, you kind of have to see it in real life in order to appreciate that. So it's hard to kind of bring this over to, you know, to a customer and think, man, I like this, I want to buy this. You know, it's hard to portray to somebody if you can't actually physically show it to them. So these are the challenges that I'm seeing: is marketing, proving the value of as well as, I would say probably that's the main thing.
What are some of the methods that you're using so far?
Talking with everyone I can about it, basically. Just going out. Sometimes I just go out, I walk the dog, I look around, you know, keep your eyes open, see places, try to figure out, maybe this guy would like this, and then just go talk with him. I mean, I think every person that you talk with gives you a bit more feedback on what it is they want. It gives you more confidence in your speech for the next go round. It's, I mean, I wouldn't say speech, but I mean, you filter down to the things that are really necessary and kind of, you know, really get you communicating properly, right? So I think as much as you can, as much time as you can spend talking with people about what it is you're doing, I think the more it solidifies what it is you're actually doing.
It's interesting. I was listening to a quote by Henry Ford, and he said, "If I'd have listened to what the people told me, they'd have told me to make them a faster horse." You know, so have you found that as you talk to the people, getting across to them that this different new thing is actually something that has lasting value? Has that been a challenge, or have people been open to the idea, or they see it, once they see it, they're like, they on it? What's been the reaction from the people?
Well, there's always questions. I mean, if you see it, it does look really nice, but there are a lot of fears that kind of have to be overcome. Like, is this going to break? Is it going to last a long time? Is it going to be long? How do I take care of it? But I mean, yeah, these are things that you can almost overcome in advance. Once you continue to get those same questions, you can already answer them before people actually have them. And that's another, you know, that's kind of another important piece of actually talking to people
and engaging in this level of communication with your clients. So for someone like yourself in the marketing thing, a lot of the mindset is that each business needs to have an avatar. Do you know what I mean by an avatar? Like their ideal customer. Like for Glastrix, what does the cartoon caricature of the person who is a perfect Glastrix customer, you know? And I may not want you to sit here and think about it now. I want you to think about it as I talk about this, because for those of you who are watching, maybe you're in marketing, maybe you are a marketing expert, a marketing intern, you'd like to come to Berlin. You were a marketing executive in a Fortune 500 company that is doing great, and you have enough stock options to take off for a while, and you just like to consult others in their businesses on how to take it to the next level. These are all the sort of things that we'd like to be able to connect you with Eric. And at the end of this, we're going to show you how you can get a hold of him. And if you'd like to help him out and give him some suggestions on the marketing, you'll be able to. So when we get to the place where in your mind you've got that perfect avatar, do you think that if you were to take some time, if you could get that perfect avatar, it might make it a bit more, would you be able to dial in your marketing a bit more specifically? Or do you have that?
I'm not sure I have it yet, because I seem to, I think that there's many different little markets that could use something like this. So it's hard for me to, I would say, find that perfect avatar.
And pin it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know the artist field, because for us, because
we talk the talk, but we walk the walk. I mean,
we're clients of Eric's because he makes some amazing stuff. I mean, as an art collector, as an art curator myself, I've done a lot of different exhibitions on art, but collections. And the thing about every collection is it depends on how it's exhibited. And we have chosen to do our next exhibition fully in the work of this gentleman here because it is so out of this world spectacular.
Yeah, my father was a photographer, and we always had photos and things lying around the house. And as you move into this more digital generation, you kind of lose this tangibility of the photo. You can take your memory stick down and get something printed out, but
Who does that?
Who really does that?
Who does that?
And it's almost just as fragile when you do it. But when I work with the glass and I put the image basically on the glass, and I do everything from cutting it to sanding down the edges. It's kind of like a craft that makes things from your computer screen or your digital world back into something that's tangible and actually kind of heavy, and it has that it's like this memories in your hand, and not just something that might get deleted from your phone at some point, so yeah, I would say that's a very strong reason why.
Well, I think something that's powerful that we want to talk to all of our viewers out there about is this thing that's happening right now with art and the digitization of art. I was thinking transferring some files, this art folder and that or music folder, because before you had, I saw a Carl Cox interview and it showed his collection of albums. We used to have like vinyl collections, right? So we used to have these things that were physical. The CDs, nobody really wanted them anyway, but now it's in a hard drive that, like, if it gets squashed, okay, maybe it's there, maybe it's not, but it's so easy now for our stuff to be so disposable and to be gone forever. And glass, is that something that's going to be around forever? Well, I think it's a lot more tangible than the solid state fucking chip inside your phone, It's like, yeah, it's in the cloud. It's like, yeah, but where the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't know with everyone else, but me personally, a lot of those photos, yeah, I know they're there, but I don't really find myself going back to those old folders and looking at them, So.
It's like, when is the last time you filed through your backup CDs? Like my backup disc of like, who knows how many gigabytes, and check out those photos from like, 19, whatever. But it's like the records now. I mean, we're giving ourselves another physical way to now interact with our art. And I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen that is not ours, it's from the artworks in Berlin and all these different things. I mean, stuff that on glass, to me, it's like that shit's revolutionary. I mean, Andy Warhol was cranking out like prints of stuff, and everyone's doing shit on rolls and squares. It's like, yeah, it's like, dude, it's a soup can, that's cool. But, it was still a soup can, great art, yeah, cool. But the way in which the soup can would have looked had it been printed on some glass, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I'm seeing another dimension of art that I didn't know existed that allows you to take things like abstracts to a whole other level, because this mind of ours is trying to delete, distort, generalize. So when we see an abstract, we're like, faces, my grandmother's house from Saskatchewan, oh my God, that's my cousin. Look, all these things, but with this new medium, it's multi-dimensional. You're like, wow, this was like a picture from 3 years ago, or TMT, whatever. But I really believe that the more people actually get to view their own art through this new medium, it becomes Alice's looking glass for them. I truly believe it's going to become a kaleidoscope of introspection into another way to see their multidimensional selves, as they have to use multidimensional art, but we're not able to see the multidimensional fashion in a two-dimensional plane. And I think this is where we're really going. That's why I'm excited about it. And I'm excited that you guys get a chance to get closer to Eric, find out more about him. Tell them how they can get you, what your website is, your email after that. But maybe your email's a little private. Start with your website. They can find you through there. Tell them.
Yeah, my website is glastrix.com. glastrix.com.
Just like it is on the shirt. If you'd like one of those shirts, look, there's only one left, right? But if you send in some money right now, just kidding, you can send it to him via PayPal. So if they would like to get some artwork done and get their stuff turned into glass, we're doing an Instagram exhibit coming up, and it's definitely one of the first of its kind, so you can't beat us to it, so it's okay. I don't feel bad if you were second, third, or 625th. I recommend that you get a hold of him. You can even send him your files digitally. You can have them printed and then shipped back to you. If you'd like to know how to do that, the same way, through his website. I'm just going to call him Eric Glastrix, because we don't want to confuse you. But give them your full name, if you like.
Oh yeah, I'm Eric Frank.
You see, I knew it wouldn't confuse you. This is Q to Run on the Dark Star, coming to you live with a frog in his throat from Berlin. This is the Berlin Diaries from Ibiza LifeStyle TV. We're with Eric Frank and Glastrix.
Put stars in your eyes, don't it? That's right.
So you should lie. How was it?
Yeah, it's good.
Do you want some ice cream?
Ice cream is always.
I just like ice cream. That's why I usually real strong ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream. So, yeah, these are just some examples. It's going to be, it's up to me. I love my life.